Hey guys, and welcome back to Regrets It, Brexit Britain, a country whose Prime Minister has been described as a clown by the neighbouring country. Our neighbours. Macron says Boris Johnson's a clown. Didn't we all know this? Anyway, guys, also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me, and a special thank you to everyone who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that have signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. So, we've got at the moment, it just shows you how wicked this world is. Do you know what I mean? We've got like this couple who have just been sentenced to one, the mum who murdered the child, this little 6-year-old boy. Do you know what I mean? And like just hearing him say that nobody loves me, right? It's just gonna haunt me forever. Just hearing the video of that. Do you know what I mean? And like you know, and so murdered by his stepmom, who's just got 29 years in prison today. That's on a life sentence on a minimum, and and his real dad, who got, I believe, 21 years. I don't know if that's a minimum sentence, but he got 21 years for manslaughter, right? But and then we've had another couple today, right, who have been charged with the murder of their child as well. Do you know what I mean? So it just shows you, some poor kids. I mean, it's like, just this little kid, 6 years old. Do you know what I mean? And like, just you just think to yourself, seriously, just a whole life of trauma. Because I think his real mum is actually doing a life prison sentence for murdering her partner. Obviously not the child's dad, right? But for murdering her partner. Right? So I think that the real mum is doing a life sentence for that. Do you know what I mean? And then so this little kid, he's been living with his dad and his stepmom, and the stepmom, it's not like the stepmom hasn't got kids. She's got two kids who was living in that house as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's just unbelievable how a woman can come into a house and not, and she's already got two children, and not just take on that child as her own as well. Do you know what I mean? He's only like he's 6 years old. Do you know what I mean? And then she's claiming it was his fault. Say how bad can a 6-year-old really be? Do you know what I mean? And then we've got the situation where the social workers and the police was informed, and the school was informed, right, by this kid's close relatives. Do you know what I mean? To say, the police went round and they photographed bruises, and you think to yourself, well, why didn't the police just say, well, we're taking this child with us, right? Because this child has got far too many bruises, right? But and then the social workers went round as well. Do you know what I mean? Yourself, well, hold on. But the problem is, yeah, is that the social workers and people like that, yeah, these people are really short-staffed. They're really, there's something like 30 or 40,000 social workers down. So you could imagine that each social worker has probably got caseloads of like maybe a hundred people on their caseload. Do you know what I mean? Where they should only have where they should never have anything like that. They should probably have like maybe 20 or 25, maybe 30 on their caseloads. Do you know what I mean? But not nowhere near the amount where they just cannot keep proper, they just can't keep proper control of that. So so obviously we're down on a lot of social workers as well. This is why these situations can actually happen. Do you know what I mean? And then we've got situations where the social workers are obviously taking away children where they shouldn't be taking away children, but this little boy who should have been taken away from these people hasn't been. And then we've got we seem like we've got an epidemic in this world of kids killing kids as well. Do you know what I mean? Because we've had like quite a few kids over here. But I want to take you over to America because we've just had a, a kid arrested. Well, this child, a 15-year-old, right, arrested for for a school shooting, and he killed four of his fellow pupils and wounded another load. Do you know what I mean? But there's videos and everything of this kid where he's saying that he was going to go to the school and do that the next day. And I mean, this child seems like he's a bit of a troubled child because I believe his parents was in the school that morning about his behaviour. Do you know what I mean? And like he's had loads of meetings and all those type of things with the school about recent behaviour and all these things, right? So obviously right? You know, he's built up a lot of anger within him. Do you know what I mean? And then he's gone and done this. But and I'm listening to the American commentators speak about this, right? And one thing that the left and the right have in common, right, is the fact that it's the gun laws that need to be tightened up. Now, let me tell you, right, because I do get quite a few American contributors, right? So let me tell you this, right? It's not the gun laws that needs to be tightened up, right? The gun laws are fine, right? The problem is not the gun laws. The problem is the guns. That's what the problem is, right? You are in a society where you have got children, right, the most precious, right, being murdered in schools, murdered in schools, right? And I think, right, that if you speak to like an American person, they might think to themselves, well, you know something, well, I suppose this is something that happens all over the world. Well, look, in Britain, right, now I'm going to give you some time to do some research, right? Just just type in how many school shootings there have been in Britain in, let's just say, the last 3 months, right? And I'll give you the number, anything from 0 to 100. Okay, so do your research. Just tell me. I'll wait. If you tell me how many school shootings that we've had in this country, I'll wait. Well, I can tell you, right, that in the last 3 months in America, since August in America, right, they have had 32 mass school shootings. 32. The most precious being murdered in schools. Do you know how much we've had in Britain in that time? School shootings. 0. None. None. Because we would look at it as being completely unacceptable, right? People going into schools and shooting up and killing our most precious. I mean, that's just, I don't know what kind of society puts up with that. And even in America, even some of the people, right, whose children have been murdered, right, they still will be like, oh no, we can't ban guns. Oh no. But that's what you need to do. Guns need to be banned. That's the only way around it. Human beings should not be allowed to have guns. If you have guns, right, human beings kill other human beings with guns. That's what they do. That's all that ever happens with guns. Right? Apart from I think it's Switzerland. I'm sure the Swiss culture is exactly the same as the American culture. Loads of gun-toting Swiss, right? But they don't go around shooting and murdering each other. Doesn't happen. They don't have school shootings. Doesn't happen. That doesn't happen at all. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand that society. Do you know what I mean? That would allow their most precious to be murdered like that. I mean, the last incident, right, that we had with a gun in a school. It was like one of the students took a starter pistol. So that's a blank firing, right, weapon onto the school premises. Do you know what I mean? And I think must have fired it a couple of times or whatever. Now over here, let me tell you, that child, he's still in prison. I'm sure he's up on trial. He's going up on trial now, but he's still in prison right now. If that was in America, they'd be like, he was only messing about. It's a starter pistol. Just messing about. Over here, the bitch ass is still in prison. Okay? It's a difference in the society. You know what I mean? I don't understand how they can just allow their most dearest to be murdered like this. Anyway, let's speak about some stuff in Britain. Nadine Dorries, right? So Nadine Dorries, you know her. Right, she's the one who called. She's the one who thinks that journalists, that radio presenters who criticise her, right, she has the right to call them fuckwits. Seriously, and this woman is a politician. Right, she done that while she was a politician. Do you know what I mean? And you think to yourself, seriously, and she's done it on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? And now she's been now she's been given a big job and that. Right? But Nadine Dorries has come out and accused the women who accused Stanley Johnson of unauthorised touching as being dirty, stinking liars. Because he's never done that to her. And of course, Nadine is far too sexy for any man not to slap that backside when they go past. She fucking wishes, right? But this is seriously. This is look. it's well known, yeah, that Stanley Johnson did break his wife's nose. Right now, I have lived with a few women, right? I have never ever found the need to break one of their noses. I've never found the need to punch one of them, slap, kick, right? Never found the need to do anything like that, right? Never hit a woman in my life. Been brought up different, right? So I would say, yeah, that men who go around and they can like and they you know and if they're at home beating up their wives and them things there, yeah, I'd say, you know what? There's a good chance they could also be sexual predators. I mean, what do you think? I think there is. So Nadine Dorries, yeah, what she should do is she keep her stupid ass mouth closed, right? Because every time this fool opens her mouth, she always puts her big ass foot in it, and I bet her feet are about a size 11, and that's not good for a woman, right? Unless you're 6'5". But other than that, stop. Right? And look, and then we've got the Unite Union, yeah, who have just said to Labour, you know what? Nah, nah. You know what? You are not no longer looking out for the working classes and the poor in our society. So you know what? We're pulling away from you. After Keir Starmer's reshuffled the other day, yeah, because I always try and tell people, right, that is just all that is just a Labour light. Sorry, a Tory light. That's all it is. You know what I mean? That's what Labour's doing. They're just going down the same route as where the Tories go. Do you know what I mean? So so there's not really that much difference between the two. Do you know what I mean? So there'll be no if we do get a Labour government, there'll be no changes for the working classes and the poor. There'll be no changes at all. Do you know what I mean? Remember, yeah, that Keir Starmer is good for the for the minimum wage to be around £10. He's okay with that. Do you know what I mean? Knowing to himself, do you know what I mean? You know what? He's on 100 and whatever a year, 100 and whatever grand a year. Do you know what I mean? Knowing to himself, you know what? I need that much because I need that much. But for you asking worth for £10 an hour. You don't need any more. What the fuck are you going to do with it? Right. So you see, so Unite have just said to Labour, you know what? I have no more of this, man. Just just don't want it. So they're pulling away from Labour. Do you know what I mean? Because they're saying that Labour is not out there for the people they're supposed to be out there for. But those people who Labour's supposed to be out there, yeah, they believe, yeah, that Labour have left them because as far as they're concerned, Labour only think about immigrants. So how's that going for you now? How's that going for all you Brexiters? Right? How's that going for you? Because all these guys have ever done, right, is just use that. They just use the fact that they know, right, that you know something, you're more interested, right, in people who are coming over on a boat, who are broke, with no money, no car, no house, but somehow those people intimidate you more, right, than your Owen Patterson, right, who's just filling his pockets as much as he could, right, or your Jacob Rees-Mogg, right, who thinks, okay, you know what, I can get myself a £6 million tax-free loan, and I'll still vote to take £20 off the lowest earners in this country. But obviously, those are your type of people. Do you know what I mean? The type of people who just look down on you, right? See, Cressella Dick was being interviewed today, right? And so Cressella Dick was like, well, because the presenter was saying, so, well, are you going to be investigating the parties at 10 Downing Street? Cressella Dick was like, you know what, yeah, I ain't had that. I haven't heard anything to be investigated. I ain't had no letters or anything like that. So they said, well, if you get a letter, well, she said, look, I get plenty of letters all the time. Right? She said, well, but if you get a letter specific about this, will you? But she said, look, I haven't had any letter. I said, but hold on a minute. There's a policeman. There's several police officers that all those party guests would have had to go past. So don't tell me that you didn't already know about this, because you already knew. Right? There's no need for a letter. It's all come out now. Yeah, probably those police officers, yeah, was probably enjoying the sausage and cheese on a stick anyway. You know what I mean? There was probably right up in there. You know what I mean? Partying hard like it's 1999, right? While 400, let's just say, just under 500 people died on that day, on the 18th of December last year. Right? While these guys was partying like it was 1999. Come on, man. Seriously, right? And Priscilla Dick, right, who is just like, as I said, as I told you before, who is just as corrupt as the rest of them. It's all corruption all the way. All of it's all corruption. All corruption, corruption, corruption. Right? You know, I had a Brexit supporter, right? A Boris Johnson supporter, right? Phoned the radio, right? And I think this is, the typical Boris Johnson Brexit supporter, right, believe that Boris Johnson needs to be hard with the French. I mean, forget the fact, yeah, that the French have just banned, our interior minister was just banned from one of the most important meetings in the world, right? And we're being made to look like fools. And Macron, right, has said that Boris Johnson is a klutz. He's a clown. Now I'm upset about that. Do you know something, right? I'm saying, how dare you, right, call our Prime Minister a clown? But I can't defend him, because he is a clown. How can you defend him? This is the thing, right? I just wonder, has it taken Macron really? Has it really taken you this long to work out that Boris Johnson's a clown? I don't think so. But that's what Macron said. The Macron has just said that openly. Boris Johnson is a clown. I mean, how embarrassing is that for us? Right? Do you know what I mean? The French get this cool, suave, sophisticated guy. Right? The Germans get a fucking scientist. And we get Boris Johnson. What the fuck is wrong with you people? That's a serious question. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Right? Look at Macron. Cool, calm, sophisticated. We get the guy who ruffles his hair, right, and talks about Kermit the Frog and Peppa Pig. No wonder Macron thinks he's a clown. I mean, seriously. Right? That's what we've got. That's what we've got. Do you know what I mean? So Macron thinks Boris Johnson is a clown. Let that sink in, right? You Brexiters and you TiVos, right? You working class Tories and you benefit Tories. Let that sink into your thick skulls. Macron has called your Prime Minister a clown. That's not even international diplomacy. I've never heard of another world leader. Well, I think a few people called Donald Trump a good few names. A good few names, including Kim Jong-un. Right. But I've never ever heard, right, one of our prime ministers, because this is Great Britain, right, being described and being called a clown. A clown. I know we say it. We say it all the time. But for other world leaders to actually say it, I mean, that has got to be, I mean, say it's going to be the most embarrassing thing yet, but I don't know. Right? And look, right, so much so, right, that the Scottish people, right, are looking at this corrupt, sleazy cesspit of a Tory party, and now, right, the Scots want to get the hell out, and 55% of voters in Scotland, right, want to break away from the United Kingdom, from Britain. 55% under Boris Johnson. 55%. of Scots want to break away, right? I mean, me personally, all right, when I'm abroad now, right, and say, "Oh, you from the United Kingdom?" Yep, I'm from the United. Where? I'm either Scottish, right, Irish, right, or that might be Africa or something like that. I'm from the Gambia, not English. No way would I be telling people I'm English. Oh, you must be sick, right? For people to say, "Well, I'm from the country where the clown is the leader," because that's what we've got. We've got an absolute clown as a leader. You know something? I could talk here all night. But listen, I've got to go because it's 20 odd minutes now. Right? Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Reeves. Got so much more to speak to you about. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.